Fridays, believing it. The short and simple one. Well, after 22 months separation, and many attempts at a separation agreement, my attorney got a pretrial date set. WW and her attorney had stalled the process by being intractable, unreasonable. WW's work, travel, and social life make it impossible for her to have our sons more than every other weekend and maybe one day a week on alternating weeks. I have them the rest of the time, along with all of the regular duties. Other than that, the remainder of it are money squabbles. She wants something that just isn't there, although I am very happy that there is now some official movement. Anybody gone through this? Thoughts? Advice? It would be nice if she got logical at the 11th hour and we could both be divorced that day. But I'm not holding my breath. It looks like my STBX will not be able to make it to the pretrial conference. Something about work-related travel. After all of the refusals, they finally agreed to mediation, which my attorney quickly set up for this Friday afternoon. Striking while the iron is hot, so to speak. If we can hammer out the separation agreement, then I can still use the pretrial court date on the 17th. This signed separation agreement will be merged with the divorce decree. Done. All I wait for is final paperwork to come in the mail in a few months. Given that it has taken me almost 2 years to get to this point, I'm not holding my breath that I will be divorced this quickly, unless the succubus of Satan has another man firmly in place. Hope she does. The boys and I will be just fine. Well, mediation came and went Friday afternoon. All 5 hours of it. Her attorney came completely unprepared for it. They also showed up 20 minutes late. There was no traffic. Everything they questioned, I had documentation to back up. But, in the end, when everything was almost settled, I asked if she had ever provided documentation as to her compensation package from her employer. No? Then let's see it. She was earning 40% more than the bogus numbers that were listed on last year's W-2. Based on that misrepresentation, I did not settle. Needless to say, the STBX and her attorney were quite upset and left very quickly. Unless she decides to get real before next Thursday, then a trial date will be set. Overall, nothing has happened, except the continued attorney expenses. There were 2 other status conferences in front of a judge after the pretrial. She didn't show up for pretrial, only her attorney. She didn't show up for the first status conference. She showed up for the second. The night before, she came to me with a verbal agreement to the settlement. We all show up in court. Judge asks my attorney if we have a settlement. Yes, he says. Judge asks attorney, he says no. No, he now feels that the settlement is not in her best interest and wants an extra $50,000. I'm very quietly fuming at point. So be it. I was ready for trial 2 years ago. I'm ready for it now. I have provided every scrap of paperwork her attorney ever requested. Yet he still tells the judge he has further investigation to do. The judge has admonished her attorney a couple of times for not moving things along. But this still does not seem to make any difference. I have provided all answers and documentation her set of interrogatories requested. This includes about 15 pages of tracking, phone, laptop, PI documentation, personal and business financials. And that's just for 2015. This doesn't include all the documentation I provided from 2010. I have paperwork on everything. I stupidly tried to reconcile with a serial cheater that time, my bad. But I learned, she doesn't get alimony. The rest is a matter of going over the financials and splitting them up. Big deal. She initially wanted me to have physical custody of our youngest son, as she was traveling extensively for her job. Something she wanted to do. So be it, I agreed to liberal visitation. Since she has now lost that job, she has changed her mind on that. She continues to stall and drag this out. She continues to live her single life, only seeing our youngest son when she is in the mood. To date, I have not received a single penny for any kind of support. I have the continued privilege of paying all of the bills, including her car payment and insurance. All the while she stalls. She has found a new job, but still, this limbo continues. 2 years 9 months and counting. I'm very frustrated. Sorry if this sounds like a rant. What a mess. I haven't heard anything from my attorney in a couple of months. I guess the ball is still in her court to develop more interrogatories or work to set up another court date, trial. At one point her attorney accused me of having more than 2 businesses that I provided paperwork for. A pretty stupid assertion, because tax records would show anything else. The fabulous cash of wealth I may have earned over our 21 years, she squandered. Between lavish spending and bailing her family out of serious tax problems and other family loans. This well is dry. I'm now putting away for my sons and me. But paying off the debts she left is priority. She still hasn't gotten off her entitled horse yet. She is almost 50, chasing after younger men, pretending she is a princess, only because I started it while we were still together. It has only 2 years left on the note. It's still considered an asset on her side of the settlement equation. If she gives it back to me and buys her own car, it would make her balance sheet look better and mine worse. That is fine with me. I would just get rid of it. It's all about numbers to me. She is going to get something. She just wants too much. She will not accept that her standard of life is going to go down. It will all balance out in the end. But I'm not going to let her get rewarded for all of her bad behavior decisions that hurt the marriage and family. She wants her own life, fine. But I won't let her take from her sons to maintain her imaginary standard of living. If she doesn't want to get real, I will let a judge handle it. Then nobody will get what they want. But that may take a while. My attorney is using the date of separation for the values. I really don't care unless she is going to use the cost of repairs to devalue the vehicle she has been driving. She isn't the most careful of people when it comes to property others are paying for. I called, left a message, and texted my attorney last Friday morning concerning any updates. They have had the last round of interrogatories for about a month now, with no return answers or court date set from opposing counsel. But still no answer from him. I haven't gotten much in the last 7 months concerning any progress. Last June 14th it would have been 365 days since I filed. An important date in any court action here in SC. At that point, the action has to be either dismissed, or if it goes in front of a judge for final settlement or trial date set, within 30 days. I'm 2 weeks past that. I'm at a loss as to the lack of communication and progress with this thing. I don't owe my attorney any money, have always paid my bill timely. We had a verbal agreement the night before the court appearance. I still have the recording on my phone. Why show up to court, wasting more time and money, and her attorney, change it. The point is, no matter what I agreed to, they always up the ante. It wouldn't have stopped at extra $50,000. That has been the pattern to date. I don't understand this lack of attorney communication as to what happens next. He gets paid for it. I have no clue as to what she might owe her attorney or not. I'm completely paid up and have not received a bill for anything since Feb 2019. I can't imagine my attorney is doing anything without being paid. I have asked for timely billing statements so I can keep up with them. If a deal has already been made, I wouldn't mind knowing it, so I may get my ducks in a row. This limbo really does suck the life out of you. I just can't fathom why this doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Lots of activity and costs for a year after filing, now nothing. I just found out from the county clerk that my divorce petition was dismissed this past July 17th. I called to see if there had been a new court date set. I just talked to my attorney the 16th. What the hell? I understand that she is BPD and a difficult divorce is in the works. But this lack of follow-through by my attorney is verging on malpractice. Either the divorce petition is reopened, or I get the pleasure of starting all of this over again. So, I got an email from my attorney this morning, telling me that they are supposed to get a letter before the court do that. They would petition the court to reinstate my divorce filing and would again press for a hearing. I promptly told him that I reminded him at the beginning of June, the middle of June and early July that those important dates were coming up. State statutes dictate, in the 30 days after the initial 365 days after filing that if it not previously settled, it must go before a judge or it is dismissed. Why didn't it go before a judge during that time? Why am I doing their job for them? My STBX may be okay with living in limbo, indefinitely like this, but I am not. I have 2 attorneys in my family, they both can't believe this mess. Yes, I may have to throw logic completely out the window. Well, it's been a week since I found out that my attorney had let my divorce petition be dismissed. I was told that that wasn't a problem, they could have it reinstated. They would provide me with a copy. Unfortunately, both a phone call and email yesterday have gone unanswered concerning this. Engaging another attorney in SC would require a judge's approval of transfer. So, for the moment, unless I do this, I am stuck in the system. SC legal system is very adversarial. No one attorney can represent both in shuffling papers. In my view, this is how things got off track. She was initially good with the settlement. Until her attorney got a hold of it, then all hell broke loose. No more amicable divorce. Think there may be any good in consulting with another attorney as to what the heck might be going on. Possibly advise me as to what else I may try to get my divorce moving. Or might this get me more deeply mired in the mud? Both her and attorney know about her obligation concerning child support. Can't get blood from a stone, but she is legally obligated, and the must rule that way. There is no choice unless I sign it away or allow 50-50 custody. She is unwilling to concede on other issues, so it is unlikely I will sign off on this. Car is in both names. If I hand over the payment schedule to her and does not pay, my excellent credit is damaged. I'm good with going to trial to settle this whole mess. I understand we, each, won't get what we want, but that would, at least, be progress. I have her on recorder verbally and on phone message agreeing to terms. Her attorney, in court, always says otherwise. He wants her to have everything. Last time accused me of having businesses that don't exist. Even though she cheated, no alimony, have years of evidence, and not only abandoned the marriage and home, but also care of the children. I fully understand that if the shoe was on the other foot, the book would be thrown at me, and rightfully so, but unfortunately it isn't. The double standard still exists. There is no logic with this divorce, it seems. Not to love divorcing BPD. When I call, I get that he is in a meeting or court or some other such nonsense. Emails pretty much go unanswered. I would have thought when I brought to his attention the looming dismissal date of my divorce petition might have been a kick in the butt for him. For one email it was. According to the SC Bar Association, a registered letter is in order expressing my concerns. If nothing happens within 30 days of that, then a complaint to the SC bar, and they will investigate. In any event, it's my life all this delay is messing with. I have no intention of R again. Why am I not allowed to go on with my life, while my STBX can? 2 years 9 months of this mess. It is so simple to me. We can't agree. Attorneys can't seem to accomplish this. Let a judge do it with trial. Heck, doesn't even need to go that way. Use the state-mandated calculations and just figure it out. It's a business transaction to me. My brother is an attorney in a different state. His opinion is that well-heeled older attorneys tend to skate on their reputation and just let the system lope along without much involvement. Collect fat paycheck. Switching attorneys has its own set of problems. Yes, settling is much better and cheaper, but there is a fine line on what is equitable and what is not. Sent an email to my attorney and his paralegal last week concerning going ahead and filing for child support. Still no answer. I have my certified letter ready to go at lunchtime today for him to address the complete lack of communication, lack of bills, allowing my divorce petition to lap among other things. If he does not satisfactorily address these issues by Friday noon, I will have another attorney pick up the slack and push things through. I did not say anything about getting another attorney. I will file a complaint with the SC Bar Association concerning his inaction. He is still part of a profession, one in which has standards of conduct. My brother and brother-in-law, both attorneys, will help me navigate this minefield. My divorce is going to take a while longer, I think. New attorney retained, old one fired. I understand my STBXW owes money to her attorney and now wants to represent herself. Not sure how far she can get this way in the SC courts. I can understand her attorney not wanting to move things forward without being paid, but I still can't understand why my attorney won't do anything so he can get paid. Unbelievable. I just can't make this stuff up. Seems like my second attorney, nor her paralegal seem all that interested in returning the phone call I made 2 weeks ago, nor the email I sent a week ago. I am really seeing how the legal profession has earned its poor reputation. She made a good impression, better than the rest, but zero results or communication. I made special point about the communication. With her or paralegal, it didn't matter. She will receive a letter this morning outlining my concerns. If she wasn't on board with representing me in this divorce, then she is to return my whole retainer immediately, since nothing has been done to warrant payment. If I don't get any feedback or action by the end of today, I will show up in her office mid-morning tomorrow. I have already filed paperwork and documents with the SC Bar Association citing misconduct with my last attorney. My divorce shouldn't be that difficult. It's just a matter of equitable distribution. I'm okay with a judge doing it, if that's what it takes. My ex just keeps raising the bar, and oh, she wants to represent herself. Holy smokes, the legal profession has earned its lousy reputation. Just a short update. It seems that my letter worked for a time. Forensic accountant on board, and all requested financial documents in her hands for analysis. New attorney received a copy of the new divorce petition refiled by my old attorney shortly before I dismissed him. Still took him a month to forward all documents to new attorney, minus all the private investigator reports which I specifically requested. I paid for them, so I want them. 3 months into this new divorce filing, still no court dates. New divorce petition did not have any pleadings attached to them. I wonder why. Old attorney also did not charge me to refile and did not charge me shipping overnight the documents. Mitigating his damages maybe. New attorney seems to be following the same script as old attorney. Not returning calls, emails, or giving periodic updates. All outlined in our written work agreement. I deserve something at least every 2 weeks. I thought very minimal. So, 3 years into this process, again, things are still moving glacially slow. Almost XW has not hired her old attorney nor a new one. She still seems convinced she can handle this pro C. I think this is code for more stalling. 8 years, and 3 filings for divorce from her. I would think she would get the hint. None of this is doing my blood pressure any good. These days just can't seem to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's there, but probably not anytime soon. As such, my opinion of the legal profession in this country is still unchanged. They deserve their awful reputation. Having great difficulty in recapturing the joy these days. As a side note to everything, I am still gathering all the documents necessary to file a complaint with the State Bar Association against my old attorney. I'm sure they won't do anything, but at least he will get a copy of the complaint and know that I didn't let his negligence did not go by unnoticed. Just a short update. Had the office equipment appraisal finished a couple of weeks ago. The info sent off to the forensic accountant and my new attorney. I guess my number on the legal carousel will come up someday to move things along. Still progressing on the formal complaint against my last attorney. Last week my almost XW invited me with our DS-14 to a hockey game. I obviously declined, told her it was inappropriate, then posting a picture on FB saying it was her first hockey game. She posted a few years ago going to a game with another man. Today, she calls my office and schedules an appointment. I sent copies of all her records to her 2 years ago, advising her to seek any future care through somebody else. It was inappropriate for me to continue to do so. What balls. I guess she will forever push my boundaries and my buttons. Shortly before I fired my last attorney, he refiled my divorce petition, which he let lapse due to his own non-performance. I have since filed a lengthy complaint to the Bar Association for this. Just yesterday, I find out from my new attorney that there has never been an affidavit of service filed. This is 6 months into a new divorce petition. I have filed 3 divorce petitions for this woman and still can't seem to get it done. What the heck? She left more than 3 years ago. Sees our youngest son 4 days per month. Our oldest 2 sons only see her on big holidays, and only when she pitches a fit. She has her own job, pays nothing of the marital bills or debts, yet I still can't get divorced. I just don't know what to say or do anymore to get this done. What a mess this has become. Okay, looks like attorney number 2 has finally started to do something. Though only after I got after her about not perusing whether almost XW was served another divorce petition or not. This was back in early September. Maybe almost XW will move things along now that she has a new boyfriend. 4th one that I know in 3 years, not including the ones during the last 10 years of our marriage. Attorney number 2 blamed it on the laziness of my attorney number 1. So, guess what? Now refiling my divorce. This time I want a police officer to deliver service. I don't care what it costs. I want to make sure somebody places the divorce petition in her sweaty hands and she signs for it. So now, since 2010 when I first got wind of her cheating, I have filed for divorce 4 times over the last 9 years. Why is this so hard to accomplish? She hasn't lived with us in more than 3 years. Cannot make this stuff up. It is so messed up. So, along with the bar complaint I filed against attorney number 1, I'm also now going for another bar complaint disputing the fees attorney number 1 charged me that are now being duplicated by attorney number 2 to move my divorce along. I'm preparing for 2020 to be a bumpy year. At least something might be now happening, slowly. I'm paying them for their expertise. All of my expectations were laid out before either attorney agreed to represent me. Number 2 seems to be moving along slowly. Number 1 caused so much delay and damage, now my charges are being duplicated by renewed court requirements and lost time. Yes, I'm going after number 1. I may not get a dime back, but at least I made an effort and made it known that I will no longer accept that kind of treatment and be brushed aside like I don't matter. I'm astounded that is how they get away with running their business that way. If I did that with mine, I would have lost my license a long time ago. I'm keeping much closer tabs on the timeline of things this time around. Process server just called, and almost XW will get served within the next 30 minutes. Glad I requested this. He had her home address as her work address. I made sure this was corrected. New divorce petition with updated pleadings was filed last week. Received a call from new attorney that XW was served in person yesterday, with her signature acknowledging receipt. Also received a letter from this state's bar, receiving my complaints against attorney number 1 and an investigator has been assigned. At the very least, for the moment, things seem to be moving. She has 30 days to respond to my petition. Unfortunately, being amicable has gotten me nowhere. I'm changing my tactics. At least some things are moving along. After a little more than 2 weeks, I got her answers back. Of the 12 pleadings of my petition, 7 were admitted, 5 were denied. So, my lunch today will be spent in my attorney's office going over those. Mostly about money-related stuff. Nonsense arguments in my opinion. This should be interesting. First court, or third, depending how you count them, appearance done. Judge ordered another mediation. This time he appointed another judge to preside over it. Which is good. I flatly refuse to use the idiot mediator we used last time. Terrible waste of money. This mediation is today at 10 a.m. Another $5,000 down the drain. New attorney is convinced this is a slam dunk today. Equitable distribution figured out via forensic accountant. No alimony, due to adultery. I will get custody of youngest son. She doesn't want him living with her and only wants visitation. Let's see what happens. Judge is now meeting with her privately to explain to her why alimony is completely out. She can't wrap her mind around it and doesn't seem capable of accepting it as fact. Should have kept those legs shut for other men. Everything went well last Friday. Alimony completely out, which is nice since it would have been mid-4 figures each month. I kept on task. I wanted everything to be about money. Everything listed. She didn't want to pay child support. Sorry, only a judge assigned that. I waived it only because I took the same amount off her portion of the equitable settlement. This includes her car payment and insurance for the next year and a half. I will work on paying that off early. Caught her hiding money, about $40,000 total. She quit her last job making $70,000 plus bonus in favor of one paying $30,000 no bonus. Shortly before she quit that job, she funneled her last bonus checks into her retirement. Sorry, I wasn't born yesterday. She started out wanting alimony, $100,000 extra, her car paid off with insurance paid until it is. No child support payments, her attorney fees paid, and the house. She got her attorney fees paid $6,000 and $15,000, and she got to keep the $40,000 only because I took it all off the equitable distribution. All in all, after all the mess, 3 years litigation, I am done. I am very satisfied with the result. I knew she was hiding money, I just needed to prove it. I stuck with it and made sure it was all laid out on the table. I don't think she got away with anything. In the end, I wanted to show and know who she really is now. She signed off on everything and quickly exited the office. Final court signing will either be later this week or next. She isn't going to be there. In the end, my feelings were bittersweet. It wasn't a victory nor a defeat. Kind of odd. Oh, and I forgot, I got custody of my youngest son. His 2 brothers are over 18. I also got the house. Judge, mediator could not believe that it had gone on this long. It really wasn't that difficult. No alimony, she didn't want custody, only visitation. The rest was just debts, assets. Thankfully, the value of my business is mostly goodwill. She is barred in this state from going after that. The longest part of the day was taken up by educating XW about her incorrect stance on alimony. A lengthy PI report, showing that she was dating 3 men at the same time, took care of that. She had no idea of all the years' information I had on her concerning that. My entire divorce case files filled up 4 cardboard storage boxes. Used a dolly to wheel them around. The visual was awesome. Retrospectively, XW was the one who kept saying she wanted to make it amicable. Amicable meant every going thing her way. But I wasn't the one cheating and hiding money. She had no clue the information I accumulated over the years. She is a liar and a thief. That was the bottom line. She cannot be trusted. I finally listened to my inner voice and stuck with what I felt was a logical strategy, letting the numbers do all the talking. When they didn't add up, I wanted a paper trail. She received what the law allowed, based on her behavior and circumstances. It's been a week since the last and final court appearance. Divorce finalized, though she does have 30 days to contest anything. I don't think she will. I have received all final papers in the mail. I have also received a filed copy of her last service and her decision not to attend that last court appearance. Not sure why, but it might have had something to do with her requesting alimony. The judge made a big point that I earn a good bit more than she does. My attorney interjected that I also retain all the marital debts and presented original copies of PI reports going back many years. With that presented and examined by the judge, witnesses in court, alimony completely out. This information was presented to her at the last mediation for her examination. She got what she originally wanted, her single life back, so she can work on a do-over. Or whatever strikes her fancy, I guess. I don't recognize this person I spend more than 20 years with. My sons don't either. I have full custody of our youngest, since the other 2 are older. Not sure how I feel about all of this. Maybe just a little bewildered and tired. It has been a very expensive, stressful 3 years. Time for me to focus on more productive endeavors. I am happy for that, but there are many challenges that remain ahead. I'm not afraid of challenges. Everything is going well. Restructuring financial stuff, getting all the ducks in a row. Things have been better for me than in many years. The only real issue now is my XW getting irrational concerning our son. Seeing her for who she really is. Even though we are divorced, she still tries to control my life. Wish she would just move far away. I have to throw roadblocks up all the time. Yet she still pushes. I was so numb to it all. My comment just wanted to show the aftermath of marrying a serial cheater. You cannot change them, don't think you are the fixer. The only person you can fix is yourself.